Welcome to the Wired for Success podcast, your show for ambitious, mission-driven entrepreneurs who want to build million-dollar businesses without sacrificing their health, relationships, or happiness, who understand that in order to build their empire, they need a solid foundation, and that the more they are thriving, the more their business is thriving too. This show brings you the very best from science, self-development, and entrepreneurship to set you up for sustainable success. Hi, I'm Claudia Garbutt, the scientist turned mindset and high-performance coach for entrepreneurs, and I help you get wired for success. Hey everyone, and welcome back to a brand new episode of the Wired for Success podcast, where we talk about all things science, self-development, and entrepreneurship that help you get to that next level of success in your life and business. Today, I'm thrilled to bring you a new Leaders or Readers Wired for Success book club episode, where I invite nonfiction authors to discuss their latest books from the science, self-development, and entrepreneurship categories. And my guest today is John Kippen, the CEO of a successful IT company, a professional magician, motivational speaker, and life coach. John's long journey of recovering from the trauma of having his face paralyzed after brain tumor removal surgery has allowed him to triumph over adversity. And he now uses the stories and lessons from his journey to inspire audiences in his speaking and magic performances. Today, we'll discuss his book, Playing the Hand You're Dealt. If life has thrown you a curveball lately and you maybe need some inspiration and motivation right now, I think this conversation is for you. So welcome, John, and thank you so much for being on my show today.
I'm excited, Claudia.
Yeah, me too. Can't wait. John, first off, as a fellow cancer survivor, I want to thank you for not giving up, because seriously, I know how hard the road of recovery is and how easy it is to become bitter and also frustrated, very frustrated. You successfully navigated that tough journey, but I bet that it wasn't easy. So your book uses the metaphor of playing the hand you're dealt. But when you first faced your diagnosis after surgery, what did that hand feel like to you? And how did you learn to play it differently over time?
Well, in some respects, I was lucky because my tumor, although it was killing me, was benign. So I didn't have the cancer treatments, the radiation, the chemo after surgery because they were able to get it all via surgery. But in the process of being in my brain, which was a 17-hour surgery, they managed to traumatize my facial nerve, which was unexpected.
Right.
So I remember waking up in surgery recovery. As I was climbing, it seemed like I was 20 meters under the sea. I got to finally be conscious, and my dad was sitting on the side of my bed holding my hand and smiling. But my mom, I couldn't see. So I asked for my glasses, and as I put the glasses on, all of a sudden I realized my head was bandaged. So they kind of went on cockeyed, but I looked around the room, and there was my mom standing at the back by the door. And the look on her face was one of horror. What these butchers do to my poor son's face. And in hindsight, I realized that was the beginning of my trauma. Because if the old saying, you only have a face a mother can love. My own mom didn't love my face anymore. And so that's when the self-doubt and the self-loathing started.
Yeah.
I always lived my life feeling that it's better to ask for forgiveness and permission. When I see an opportunity, I just go and get it. I don't let anybody say no and stand in my way from achieving a dream. So many kids grow up in a world of make-believe. And I remember when I was a little boy, 5 or 6 years old, my parents would have a friend over and they would say, Johnny, what do you want to be when you grow up? And I would say, I want to be a fireman. No, I want to be an astronaut. No, wait. I want to be a rock star. And I would go in our room and grab a couple of rulers and start banging on stuff to pretend I'm playing the drums and play my air guitar and singing, and I could be in that land for hours, just imagining what things would be like. And then as I went to school and graduated and started developing friendships and then began my career, I realized that I was no longer dreaming. You know, and so many of my coaching clients live someone else's dream. They
True.
live their mom's dream. They live their parents' dream. They live their sister's dream. But they don't reevaluate their belief systems and live their own dream. And they get to retirement age and they look back and they look at their achievements and they say to themselves, wait, is this all there is? Because I don't feel fulfilled. And it's because they're not living their own dream. So I work with my clients a lot in taking time to be mindful, given no limitations. Money is not an object. What do they want to do? How do they want to contribute to the world and to their life? And to reach out and just accomplish those goals, which ends up bringing you joy. And in the process of bringing yourself joy, because you're doing something you love, you can't help bring other people joy just by being present with you. And they see this excitement, they see this passion, and they don't exactly know what to call it. They're just attracted to you, and not in a physical, sexual way. They just see this spark from within. It comes through your eyes.
You radiate.
Yeah, you have this glow. You're excited to get out of bed every morning because you have a mission. And people don't know what it is. They just know they want some of it.
Yeah. How did you rediscover your passion, though? I mean, you did something else, right? You started an IT business, which is probably not what you dreamt of as a little kid.
I started the IT business because there was an opportunity. I studied computers in school, and I'm 6 years old, so there wasn't a lot of opportunity. But I went to a rich private school, and they invested in a mainframe that kids could work on. And then I'm a creative problem solver, so when I got in front of a keyboard in front of a computer and started writing little programs, and I realized I could make the computer do whatever I wanted it to do. It was so exciting.
It's kind of magic, right?
It really was. And so before I knew it, there was in college, the dean of the School of the Arts was saying, "You're so good with these computers. We bought all these brand new color Macintosh machines, and we want you to set up the lab. We want you to teach faculty and staff and students how to use them as a tool to move themselves forward and accomplish things that they could never do with a paper and pencil." And, I felt great. I felt needed. I felt respected. And so that's when I started my computer consulting company. And it brought me joy for many, many years. And all of a sudden I realized I needed to grow my consulting company. And the only way to grow your consulting company, you can't be a one-man band. You have to hire other people. And so the people I hired were independent thinkers and creative problem solvers on their own. And little did I realize that those employees needed to be managed. And they're really hard to manage people who think creatively on their own, because they always want to do it their way instead of your way. And so that was a challenge I was not prepared for. And I had to come up with strategies to get them invested in my dream and my methodologies. And be honest, if they had an idea that was better than mine, I said, okay, you win. Your idea is better than mine. Go do it.
So what are your best tips for managing your team?
Share your vision.
Mm-hmm.
Share the reason for your why. Share why you create this product and who it serves, why it's so important for you. And it is a mission.
Mm-hmm.
Get people to hop on that bandwagon and understand that that mission has value, and get them engaged with that mission so that they can bring their own unique skills to that mission, as opposed to, because why do I have to do it this way? Because I said so.
Mm-hmm.
My mom and I had a difficult relationship because when she asked me to do something, it was always, well, why, Mom? Because I said so.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, moms always win. So, but until I really understood why, I couldn't adopt it.
Yeah.
But
I
once
understand.
I understood her thought process and then had the discussion, hey, I understand your why, but I want to contribute my why, and maybe we can get them to meld together. And two heads are always better than one. I don't want to speak in cliches, but some of
Mm-hmm.
them are so true, that surrounding yourself with people in business that are as smart as you are, or even smarter, and learning how to listen to their perspectives is so important,
So important. Yeah.
because it first of all takes the stress off of you. So you know that if you need to take a break, you need to take a vacation, you get sick and you have to take time off to recover. Your team is a team. There is no I in team.
Mm-hmm.
So it's about everybody having a common goal and understanding who you're trying to serve.
Yeah.
And if you're able to communicate that in a way that your team truly understands your goals, your vision, that's 3/4 of the battle right there.
So, how would you describe your mission? Can you share your mission with the rest of us?
Yeah, my mission started out, I would have clients who were forced to start using technology, but they didn't grow up with it. So they were intimidated by it.
Mm-hmm.
I would have clients calling me and paying $50 to drive to their office and change the toner cartridge in a printer so they could actually get out their bids, so they can actually work and make money. And I was the hero, you know. I would walk through the door and the receptionist would say, everyone, John Kippen's in the building and he's here for 45 minutes, so take advantage of him. And it was, I felt empowered. I felt needed. And so I spent a lot longer than I ever expected to be there, going desk to desk, saying, hey, Claudia, what kind of problems are you having with your computer? Let me solve them. And it did two things. It helped, of course, the individual who was fighting with some technological issue, which usually was just their lack of understanding of how something worked.
Mm-hmm.
And you got to learn how to think like a computer,
Yeah.
and the programmer who made the program. But then it gave you such self-confidence that no matter what the challenge was, you could solve it, even if you had to do it unconventionally. Sometimes there was a software glitch that you had to find a workaround
Mm-hmm.
while the software manufacturers figured out how to fix the symptom.
Yeah.
And so learning how to think creatively was such a skill that I honed and practiced.
It really sounds like empowering others is your life's mission. It doesn't matter what you do, it seems to be at the core of your personality. Is that
I
correct?
I invest in other people's dreams.
I love that.
That is so important, to give. to give to people without expecting anything in return ends up bringing you so much joy when you see them succeed.
Mm-hmm.
And even if they don't take the time to realize it and say thank you, you know deep down, without your assistance, your guidance, your help, they would still be struggling.
Mm-hmm.
So then I had my brain tumor, right? And my face was paralyzed, and that was devastating.
Yeah.
And I stayed at home. Fortunately, I could run my IT company from behind my computer and didn't have to take person meetings. So I didn't have to constantly explain why my face was paralyzed. I could just do the work myself. And after 12 years of sitting at home, very unhappy,
Yeah.
I rekindled the love for my childhood love of performing magic. Because in a magic performance, you make a connection with someone.
Mm-hmm.
And you open your heart and you let them know what makes you tick. I teach magicians how to do magic. And oftentimes I have a studio in my house that they come to, and the first thing they do is they reach in their bag of tricks and they pull out a deck of cards. And I kind of smile at them and I say, "Oh, sorry, we won't be using those today." They go, "Oh, okay." And then they reach back in and get us some coins or ropes or whatever their props are. And then I smile, and in a kidding way, I say, "Oh, sorry. No, we won't be using those today either." And then they look at me like, "What am I paying you for if we're not gonna?" I said, No. You can learn how to do a piece of sleight of hand from a book, from a video. That's not what I'm here to teach you. I'm here to teach you why you chose magic as your art form. What do you want the audience to learn about you by sharing your magic with them? What lessons from your life are you going to share with them? And what lessons from their lives, of their accomplishments, of their passions, are you going to then get out of them and then help them design an illusion that tells that story? Magicians don't understand that audiences want to learn about you as a human being, and they want to be inspired by your passion. And you can't have passion if you're doing a trick that doesn't have meaning to you. But the minute you do that, all of a sudden they're energized. When they're energized, you see them glowing. You see their eyes start to sparkle. And the audiences can't help fall in love with you. And all of a sudden be encouraged to follow their dreams. My coaching program is called the I'm Possible Method. The word impossible is actually two words. It's I'm possible. And so that's my coaching practice's theme. Turning the impossible into possible.
This is so beautiful. And now I understand your Star Trek magic performance so much better, because I watched that and I was like, now I understand why you do this. So it's really sharing a part of your personality and a part of your passion. So
Star Trek is a show I watched every even though I was born after the seasons, the initial season, and I was watching reruns. I never missed an episode.
Loved it too.
I came up with an illusion with this little plastic thing called a transporter. And that wasn't the initial reason why the creator created this thing. But I came up with a creative idea to use this plastic sleeve that you put a card on that allows you to make one card turn into the other. And I turned it into a Star Trek transporter.
Yeah, so cool. People should really check it out.
And in my presentation, I would reach out to the audience and I would ask, all right, who are Star Trek fans?
Mm-hmm.
And then I would have someone and I would say, do you mind if I call you Captain Claudia?
Mm-hmm.
Then all of a sudden they feel empowered. They're like, oh my God, I'm now captain. I said, don't get ahead of yourself. Remember, I'm still the admiral. And but now they're engaged and they want the trick to be successful because they're part of it. They're the captain of the ship.
Yeah, it's all about connection.
And when they select a playing card at random, and then their card not only appears in this transporter, but then visually dissolves and then reappears face up in a deck of cards that someone's been holding the entire time.
Crazy.
Yeah.
It really is.
I had that gimmick for 20 years before I found a use for it. And I was at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. All of a sudden, I had the brainstorm. And I got out of bed and I went rummaging through my magic stuff to find that. And I created that routine in an hour. And the
Wow.
next time I performed, I did that. And just to see people's reactions of visually seeing that card dematerialize
Mm-hmm.
was
So cool.
so cool.
So cool.
Even to non-Star Trek fans, they were like, holy cow. So I guess the key to my life and the answer to all of my challenges, and I've had plenty, is to think creatively, not taking no for an answer.
Mm-hmm.
And as I said in our pre-interview, there's one 3-letter word that I removed from my vocabulary.
Yeah.
And it's the word try. There is no trying. There, you can do it or you can't do it. And that is really the key to achieving your dreams.
You just have to go for it, right?
You have to go for it. And if it doesn't work the first time, you attempt a different method. You look through a different lens. You surround yourself with people who are smarter with you, and you ask them, well, what do you think I'm doing wrong? How would you do it? And maybe you discount what they're saying, but most of the time you adopt their strategy and then you use that strategy again. And eventually you figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
You get past that block that's holding you back. And I have a therapy that I call the tripod method. The tripod basically is from an experience I had when I was doing theater, where I was prop master for a television or a TV children's theater program, and I had to build this vintage tripod. I didn't know how to do it, so I remember sitting in the workbench with all the raw materials, just frozen in my tracks. And my instructor, his name is Jerry Abbott, this guy from Paducah, Kentucky, wearing suspenders and always had a cigar hanging out his mouth. And he walked up and he saw me struggling and he said, John, I didn't take you to race. What are you doing, boy? And I'm like, Jerry, I'm just having trouble getting started. I don't know how to do it. And he said, John, get out of your bleep head. Take 4 pieces of wood, okay? Tie a rope around the top of them, okay? Splay the other 4 ends of the rope, of the sticks, and tie a rope around them. Hang a hook. Okay, you built a tripod. Get out of your head. And all of a sudden, now I did it in 5-10 minutes. And I had been sitting there for an hour catastrophizing over the fact that I couldn't figure it out.
Yeah.
All my limiting beliefs. And then after completing that, I looked back and I said, that wasn't so hard after all. So I used the tripod as a trigger word. And so many people think trigger words are negative. It's a mindset. Trigger words don't have to be negative. they can be positive. And when you take a 1 or 2 word phrase and you assign it to that success in your life, so that word brings back all those feelings of accomplishment when you beat the odds and you created or did whatever you were so fearful of tiptoeing out of your comfort zone to do. And you're up against a new challenge. You just say the word to yourself, tripod.
Yeah.
Tripod. Yeah. It's like magic. All of these feelings of accomplishment from that memory flood back into your body. And they give you hope to try and try again. And just to do it. And it works like magic. You try it. You'll be amazed.
Yeah, it's amazing. You create those positive anchors and you can rely on them.
And they become your greatest tools.
They do. Now, when I watched your TED Talk or your magic performance, it was clear to me that humor is one of your superpowers for sure. And that is something that I very much relate to because I found humor to be one of the most important, and I want to say skills because it's something that might need practice, but it was something that really helped me get through chemotherapy, for instance, or other tough situations in my life. Now, can you talk about the importance of humor in recovery and in overcoming adversity in general?
My humor came from the fact that I'm a rule bender.
Okay. The rebel.
I'm the rebel.
You are.
I don't break rules very often, but I certainly know how to bend them. And so it brought out that little mischievous boy in me when I bend a rule to get something accomplished. When I'm able to cut through all the red tape by finding a creative solution. And you get inspired. You inspire yourself by doing that. And so you laugh at the situation because you're able to accomplish it where other people are sitting there waiting for someone to give you permission to do it. And my philosophy is don't wait for anybody to say. If you ask for permission and someone says no, then you're defying them when you do it. But if you just come up with an idea and you do it, what you'll find is whoever supervises you will look at that and they'll go, and they stop because they see you actually doing it. And they think to themselves, darn, John has figured out how to do this. I didn't ask him to do it, but it's something that needed to be done. And no, he didn't ask for permission because he had a vision on how to accomplish it. And good for him.
Yeah.
No? So, but my humor, I don't know, I've always had a quick wit. And I've always looked at the irony of life and tried to make light of it. And so I've just learned I studied improv in college. That is such a strong tool. You study some improv. It helps you be in the moment and react in a clever way, in a supportive way. You know, improv is all about being a part of a team. You know, there is no I in team. And as leaders, we need to understand that we surround ourselves with people who are independent thinkers, who have their own ideas. And it's not going to serve you well if you try to control their creativity. Because when you let someone else chime in with their own creative ideas, they may not be right. And you thank them for it anyway. But they might come up with an idea you never thought about. And at that point, it becomes part of your psyche. And you you realize that they have a better idea than you. And
Mm,
instead of having your back up and be offended by it, embrace it and compliment them on that idea, saying, and I would never have thought about that in a million years, but what a wonderful idea. Let's do it your way.
yeah,
The leader, there is no better way of getting your employees invested in your dream than letting them come up with their own ideas on how to accomplish it.
true. And I think as a leader, it's also maybe important to build a team with lots of different personalities who can really complement you, because I think so often we tend to maybe hire people who think similarly to the way that we're thinking, because that just feels familiar. So, but if we all have the same strength in the team and the same, or we are lacking in the same areas, then that's not a good thing. So we should really try to find people who complement us, even if that brings a set of challenges as well, because they think in a different way.
So
Right?
many leaders forget why they're doing whatever they're doing. And they don't have the words to articulate it quickly in a way of why it's their life's mission and why it's important.
Mm-hmm.
And so as a leader, you need to sit down in a quiet time and articulate to yourself why it is that you do what you do. When one of two things happens. Either you really figure out how to communicate it to people who work for you so they get it, they understand, or you realize that whatever you're doing is no longer important to you. And that's a scary thing, because that means you need to make a shift. You need to find something else to do that brings you joy and the feeling of accomplishment. And boy, after doing something for 30 years, like my IT consulting company, I hate getting out of bed in the morning now, doing my IT. I do it because it pays some bills. But coaching has become such a valuable asset of mine, a skill, where I learned how to teach people to get out of their own way, to start dreaming again.
So fun, right?
And understanding the I'm possible method. We all have everything we need within us. We just have put so many blocks and so many limiting beliefs in front of them. We're scared to let those ideas come out.
Yeah.
After 2 or 3 sessions with my clients, we get rid of all those limiting beliefs. We get rid of all those fears of failure. And we find the thing that they really want to excel at, the thing that brings them passion, that will get them out of bed in the first 5 seconds upon opening your eyes. I'm a big follower of Mel Robbins, and she talks about her 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 strategy.
Yep. That's
where
a good one.
you wake up and you say 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and before you get to 1, you are out of bed doing something. You're making the bed, you're going and feeding the dog, you're making breakfast, you're taking the dog for a walk, whatever it is. You're checking your notes, you're getting ready for the day, as opposed to hitting the snooze button and covering yourself with the covers and saying, no, I need 20 minutes more.
I never ever do that.
Well, we all hide. We all get frustrated.
It's
And
true.
we want to do that.
But I don't hit the snooze button. That's one rule. Never do that.
So you pull the plug from the alarm from the electrical socket either, huh?
Alarm goes off and I get up. That's it.
Yeah. So it's just, we have limited time on this earth.
Yeah.
And we need to learn not to spend 23 hours a day focusing on your career. Because at the end of the day, your career doesn't really matter. It's the relationships that you created with others that you take to your grave, you take to your deathbed, that make you so proud.
Yeah.
The lives you've changed. That's my legacy, is to change people's lives one interaction at a time.
I love that. And I mean, in your book, you mix the inspiration, you mix motivation, you bring the humor. What do you hope that readers will feel and take away when they turn that last page?
You know, I filled my book with quotes that resonate with me. I don't know, about 80 quotes. And I'm dyslexic, so I don't read for pleasure. And I sat there upon deciding to write a book, and I'm like, how the hell am I going to write a book when I don't read for pleasure? So I wrote a first draft, and that's what you read today. But so anyway, I wrote all these great quotes that I was really resonated with. And at the back of the book, now there's appendix of all those quotes. So as you read the book, you make a note. Oh, I love that quote. I want to remember it. And then you remember to paraphrase the quote, but you want to know it. You want to know it exactly. So you just go to the appendix, and there they all are. So you can find the quote that most resonated with you. You know, I studied theater in college. So instead of the book having chapters, my book does not have chapters. It has scenes and acts. My introduction is an overture. My conclusion is my curtain call. So I just play with that idea. But throughout the book, I have sections that are called pearls of wisdom, which are just commonsensical things that people forget. That you read them and you go, oh, yeah, that's a really good idea. And it's just resources that people can take advantage of. And then I decided, and it's funny, my publisher said, John, you're the first person I've ever seen do this. I created QR codes in my book.
Yeah, I noticed.
With every story, there's a QR code.
So cool.
And in the digital version, you just click on the button. But if you have the printed version, you take your phone, your iPad, and you scan the QR code. And it takes you to a secret area on my website that shows you a video of me performing my TED Talk, or the documentary I filmed with Jamie Lee Curtis, or me performing magic at the Magic Castle, or even there's an intermission in the book. You get to the intermission and I teach you how to do a magic trick.
Hey.
And the magic trick is an amazing tool. I'm looking for a business card. I'll use this. You know, it allows you to take a business card and make it float.
Whoa.
Or a credit card. You know, you go to a restaurant and you're dealing with a waitress that is overworked, underpaid, and too busy. They hand you the check. And you say, wait. Let me just show you something. And as you present your credit card to them, you make it float. And you see them become completely entranced with that. And they're like, how did you ever do that? And then you teach them how to do it. It's a simple thing. It takes 5 minutes of practice.
Cool.
Now their credit card floated. It was magical. And not only has it cheered their day up, but now they can do it to their customers. When I go to restaurants and I do that, you will be amazed at the level of service I get from their customers. I drink a lot of water, and normally I ask for 2 glasses of water so that I don't have to keep on flagging them down for a refill. And they are attentive as heck. They're like, got to make sure John's water glasses, both of them are filled. I love eating pickles at a deli. Well, they make sure I have enough pickles to eat. They go that little extra mile to say thank you because you taught them something and you did something magical for them. And they return by giving you the best service possible. That's what we want in a restaurant. We want good quality food, and we want a waiter or waitress that cares about you. And you do a simple 30-second magic trick, and they're your friends for life.
So easy.
So easy. Or if you love telling jokes, you stop them and you tell them a joke, and they laugh. And they know the next time they are feeling down, they come to your table and say, "Okay, John, I'm sorry. I need a laugh. I need a joke. Give me a joke. Give me your best shot." You develop a relationship with them. They're not just a servant. They're not just an employee, but they become a part of your life, and you become a part of their lives. And they go home and they share that secret with their family and their friends. And you pay it forward.
Yeah. Again, it's all about connection, right?
Life is all about connecting with people.
Yeah.
During the pandemic, I was sitting home alone and I was bored. I was lonely. So I invented a game called Rolodex Roulette. For those of you who don't know what a Rolodex is, it's this little metal spindle that you spin around on a stand. And it has all these cardboard cards that you staple a business card to. And they're all in alphabetical order, so you can find someone's telephone number or contact info. Well, today we have our phones, and our Rolodex becomes our contacts. So the way you play it is you go to your contacts and you turn the phone away, and you blindly scroll up and down, up and down, up and down, and you land on a name. And that's the person you make a phone call. You don't text them. You don't email them. You don't send them smoke signals. You call them on the phone and you say, "Hey, Claudia." And you go, "John? Oh, I haven't talked to you in 15 years. And I say, "Yeah, I just wanted to know you were in my thoughts today.
Aww.
I was thinking about you." Everybody loves to have someone else thinking about them, but we are not mind readers, so at least you're not. And we always wonder if someone is thinking about us. And to know someone else was thinking about you makes life worth living. Because it means that you matter to them. So this game allows you to communicate to people that, "Hey, you crossed my mind, and I wanted to call and just check in. How are you? Tell me something good that's going on. Tell me something bad. I don't care. Just let's make a connection." And it's amazing. By the end of that game, what was going to be a 3-minute conversation ends up being a 30-minute to an hour conversation, and you reminisce on all the good times you had with them or the people you know, and all of a sudden they're having a wonderful time just talking about nothing, no agenda other than, "What's going on? How are you? I'm interested."
Yeah, we should all play that game more often.
And what's even better, we all have those contacts in our phone that we had a disagreement with. We all had a falling out, and a lot of times we don't even remember why exactly what happened, the details. We just know that we're not going to be the person to mend that bridge, period. We're going to wait for them to reach out because we don't want to seem weak. Well, this game gives you that plausible deniability that you find that person's name. You say, "Claudia, okay, before you get started, I'm just saying, I learned this game from my friend John. It's called Roulette Roulette. And the rules strictly state whatever name I land on, I call and check in with you. So here we are. And how are you?
That's even more beautiful.
It takes that stress from being the person to let bygones be bygones and just rekindle a relationship.
Yeah.
No matter the reason. Life is too short to hold grudges.
It's a beautiful reminder.
Yeah.
Is there anything else that you would like to share with our listeners today?
Being different is your superpower. When you learn how to love yourself unconditionally, trust me, it's not easy. It took me 12 years to come to the realization that my facial paralysis did not define me if I didn't let it. And that's a conscious choice because that's something up here and in here. So many of us catastrophize what someone else is going to think about us.
Yeah.
And we find out later on that was never the case. That whatever happened, they've long forgotten about. And we have the opportunity to reinvent ourselves every moment of every day and forget the past and show up as who we have become. And that is how you bring joy to yourself. So many people ask me, John, what is the meaning of life? I'm religious. I believe in God. I don't believe in God, but I just don't understand. What is the meaning of life? And the meaning of life is to live every day with some joy and bring that same feeling of joy to someone else. Because at the end of the day, it's those joyful experiences and those memories that we're going to remember. That's going to make us smile on our deathbed and know that our life was not a waste, that it was worthy because we brought joy to other people. There is no more important mission in life than to be someone's friend and bring joy to them.
I agree. Those are wonderful last words. So the very last question I'm going to ask you today is, where can people buy your wonderful book? And also, where can they connect with you online if they're maybe interested in your coaching services or just want to reach out and say hello?
Thank you so much. Kippen Coaching, KIPPENCOACHING.com. Kippen Coaching is my new website, which talks about my I'm Possible method, allows you to reach out for a free 45-minute call where we can talk about whether or not my coaching program is something that can help you. And all I ask is you show up to that call without distractions, with your phone on silent, and be honest with me. And just open up and tell me your greatest fears and the things that limit you are limiting you and keeping you from reaching those dreams, or the fact that you don't dream anymore. I have exercises that help you make dreaming become a habit. Trust me, if you let dreaming become a habit, you will achieve the impossible.
Yeah, I love that.
And you can just send me an email at john@kippencoaching.com. I have a second website, it's just johnkippen.com, and that's more for the videos of me performing my TEDx talk, performing for the late, great Canadian host of Jeopardy, Alex Trebek, and performing magic on his 75th birthday party. When he came out with his diagnosis of cancer, I was so touched. I reached out, found his daughter, and said, Nikki, I need to perform magic for your dad. I'm not going to take no for an answer. And she was like, okay, we're having a 75th birthday party and you can be the entertainment. I just showed up and I made his birthday special.
No.
By distracting his mind from his cancer diagnosis for at least an hour. He wasn't thinking about his cancer. He was realizing how much fun he was having, trying to figure out how I did all my magic, and making that connection. Remember people's names, learn that skill, because the one word in everybody's language that they most love to hear is their own name.
Yeah.
When people realize that all of a sudden they know your name, they are immediately attracted. They are immediately at attention. Like, wow, you remembered my name.
Mm-hmm.
Who remembers my name, especially if it's a complex name.
Yeah.
And use that name as opposed to he, she, whatever, or you. Use that name because it makes them care for you even more. It makes them stand up and be noted.
Yeah.
Anyway, to get my free download of the PDF version of my best-selling book with the foreword written by my good friend Jamie Lee Curtis, go to johnkippen.com/free gift. It's going to give you a form where you ask for your name, your email address, and your phone number. And you will then get an email with a link and a password to download the book. The password's simple. It's John Kippen. It's my name.
Awesome. John, thank you so much for sharing your story and all your lessons with us today. You are a true inspiration.
Thank you. You are too, Claudia. Thank you for your platform. Wired for Success is such a great topic.
Aww, thank you.
And a lot of people don't understand what that means. Wired for success. How do you get wired for success?
Yeah, it's all about the mindset.
It's all about the lens you look at life through.
Exactly. You get it.
And that lens can change from time to time. And sometimes you look through someone else's lens to take a look at what how you are showing up in life. And those can be some of the best lessons, is how to look at yourself through someone else's eyes. And really hear their feedback, ask for their feedback, and really listen to their feedback and learn from it. Because a lot of times they see your limitations long before you do.
Yeah, people are mirrors. They have to show you.
That's what coaching is all about. Having a coach who cares about you and cares about you getting through your traumas. And, I talk about the definition of resilience. Resilience is a measurement of how long it takes for you to get off the ground and move forward in your life. That's all resilience is. And the more and more you practice resilience, the better you get at it. And the faster you bounce back.
It's true. It's like with everything else, you have to practice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, thank you, Claudia.
Thank you.
Very pleased that you invited me onto your podcast. And I understand your mission. And if I was a small part of your mission, I am humbled.
Aww, I think we create some great synergy because our missions overlap and we want to empower people. So I hope we achieve that today. And I hope that you keep up the great work. You take care and we talk soon.
Last thing I want to say.
Yeah.
Happiness is a choice.
True. Yay.
Applaud you, Claudia. I applaud you.
And I applaud you, John. See you soon.
Great.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you so much for listening to the Wired for Success podcast. I hope you've enjoyed this episode. If you did, please take a sec to rate and review my show or share it with a friend. That way you can support the show and help me reach and support other entrepreneurs like yourself as well. If you would like my help to figure out how you can go from overwhelmed and overworked hustler to empowered and confident leader, check out my website at www.wiredforsuccess.solutions and book a free 20-minute strategy session with me. Can't wait to help you get wired for success. Until next time, take care. Bye.